It's one of the most beautiful objects on the entire planet. A truly flawless 45-carat blue diamond that has captivated people for centuries. But, you know, behind that mesmerizing sparkle, there's a really dark trail of death, madness, and just spectacular misfortune. A legacy that has struck down kings right at the absolute height of their power, queens who loved to flaunt their incredible wealth, and even American heiresses who thought for sure they were immune to its power. So this is the story of the Hope Diamond. We're talking about a 45.52-carat gem whose history is just drenched in blood and tragedy. For over 350 years, it's been blamed for this shocking string of disasters. But here's the real question. Is it truly cursed, or is there something else going on here? The story of the curse. Well, it all starts back in 17th century India. And it doesn't begin with a sale. No, it begins with a sin, a moment of pure sacrilege that supposedly unleashed this dark power that would end up spanning continents and centuries. Okay, so the legend goes like this. A French merchant, a guy named Jean-Baptiste Tavernier, plunders the original massive 115-carat diamond right from the eye of a statue of the Hindu goddess Sita. The temple priests were, of course, enraged, and they supposedly cast a curse on the stone, damning anyone who ever dared to own it. So Tavernier sells this gem to France's famous Sun King, Louis XIV, back in 1668. It gets recut and becomes known as the French Blue, the absolute pride of the French crown jewels. But then, during the chaos of the French Revolution, it's stolen. The diamond just vanishes for decades, before it finally pops up again in London. Only now it's smaller, and it has a new kind of deceptively optimistic name, the Hope Diamond. All right, this is where the story gets really dark. The trail of ruin that this diamond left in its wake is, well, it's astonishing. Let's actually look at the evidence, the body count, and the lives it allegedly just destroyed. I mean, the irony here is just staggering. The French blue was the ultimate symbol of the monarchy's absolute power. And yet, its most famous owners, Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette, both ended up losing their heads to the guillotine. Was that just a coincidence of history, or was it the curse at work? After disappearing and getting recut, the diamond eventually makes its way to America. It lands in the hands of Evelyn Walsh McLean, a fabulously wealthy heiress who bought it in 1911. Now, she had this belief that bad luck charms actually brought her good luck. She was tragically mistaken. It seems the curse followed the diamond to America, and its time with the McLean family is probably its most brutal chapter. Soon after Evelyn bought the stone, her 9-year-old son was killed in a car crash. Her husband, Ned, had an affair, spiraled into alcoholism, and eventually died in a mental asylum. Years later, her daughter died from a drug overdose at just 25. And finally, Evelyn herself lost her entire fortune and died in debt, apparently still clutching the diamond she believed had brought her so much pain. It's just a shocking amount of tragedy to hit one single family. After hearing all this, it's pretty hard not to believe in the curse, right? But what if it wasn't supernatural at all? What if this whole thing was actually history's most brilliant and most sinister marketing ploy? Seriously, think about it. How do you sell a diamond that's already, priceless? You don't just sell the stone, you sell the story. And what's a better story than a deadly curse that makes the gem completely irresistible to the bold and the superstitious? So let's rewind to that origin story. The legend says Tavernier, the guy who supposedly stole the gem, was torn to pieces by wild dogs. A pretty gruesome end for a thief, but historical records tell a very different story. Turns out he lived a full, prosperous life and died peacefully at the ripe old age of 84. The most dramatic part of the curse's origin, a complete and total fabrication. So who would make that up? Well, enter Pierre Cartier. In 1910, this brilliant jeweler got his hands on the diamond and saw a golden opportunity. He deliberately played up the curse story, crafting this dark, romantic history specifically to tempt his perfect client, the rich, superstitious Evelyn Walsh McLean. He sold her the story, and she bought the stone. But hold on, this story doesn't end there. Just when you think the mystery is solved, that it was all just a clever marketing trick, modern science steps in and finds one last shocking secret hidden deep within the stone itself. For centuries, this is what everyone saw, a magnificent, deep blue diamond. Beautiful for sure, but just a stone. But then, in 2008, scientists at the Smithsonian looked deeper, using a tool that its previous owners could never have even imagined: ultraviolet light. And this is what they found. When you hit it with UV light, the diamond glows an eerie, fiery blood red. This property, it's called phosphorescence, is extremely rare in blue diamonds. The Hope Diamond's hidden red glow is caused by a unique atomic structure, a quirk of how it was formed deep inside the Earth. For centuries, the diamond held a secret, a fiery heart that no one could see. So what does this all mean? Is this blood red glow just a fascinating random quirk of quantum physics? Or is it something more? Is it the physical manifestation of all that dark energy and violent history trapped inside the stone, the ancient curse finally made visible? That, my friends, is for you to decide.